final, some superb match-saving blocks during that game. Not that Chelsea had too many opportunities, but he was pretty impressive whenever called upon. Defended really deep and read the danger and snuffed it out before it came a real problem. The Moose was with us at Wembley yesterday, and he had to endure Perry Groves, Ray Wilkins and Stuart Pearce all trying to outdo one another with their Moose wind-ups. The best, I think, was Stuart Pearce suggesting that someone had mentioned during our commentary something about a Winnebago, and that he'd then seen the Moose run up the stairs back to our commentary box because the Moose had thought he'd heard someone say, "Anyone want a bagel?"
Yes, I was going to say it had to be food related.
Ian Abrahams is with us. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Hey, Abe. It was a controversial day in some ways, wasn't it? I mean, look, Arsenal were the right winners of the game. They were the better side, but there was certainly a big decision or two decisions in the opening goal.
Yeah, I was really not convinced that the only goal should have stood. I mean, there was a handball in there which I hadn't seen, actually, if I'm honest. But I was really not convinced about the offside. I mean, I asked Aaron Ramsey about it afterwards, and he was fairly adamant that he'd not gone for the ball at any stage. So, he thought it should have stood, and certainly, it was well tucked away by Sanchez, but then the goalkeeper had stopped as well. And I'm not convinced the referee hadn't blown or was about to blow as he was put the ball in the net. So, I think that the first goal was offside, but the right result, 100%. I mean, how Arsenal didn't win by many, many more. I mean, they hit the post a couple of times, had a couple off the line. It was a very, very limp Chelsea performance, probably the worst I've seen them play in all season. And for Arsenal, it was where has that team been all year? I mean, if you're an Arsenal fan this morning, it's a combination of joy at winning an FA Cup, but probably tearing your hair out thinking that if they'd only played like that for even a half a season, they'd have probably given Chelsea a run for their money.
I disagree with you about the opening goal, and I said that to you at half-time, and I felt that it was onside. I thought that Ramsey makes no clear attempt to play the ball. As a result of that, the laws were changed about a year ago, in which that situation was clarified. Thibaut Courtois got far too distracted by other things that were going on in front of him. I think it's still difficult for the goalkeeper because there is a player there, and in that instantaneous second, you're not entirely sure whether he's going to be given offside or not, but that's why you play to the whistle, not look at the flag.
Yeah.
But Chelsea had 85 minutes to put that right, and they didn't, did they?
No, they didn't. Listen, this is where two things need to change for me in football, right? One is the offside rule needs to go back to what it was 30 or 40 years ago. If you're offside, you're offside. That's it. Forget phases of play. Forget if someone, makes an attempt to get... if you're offside, you're offside. Then everybody knows where everybody stands. And I think that, fans would know, commentators would know, players would know, managers would know. I think that would be a lot easier. The other one is handball. I mean, if you hit your hand in the box, it's a penalty. I don't care if people aim for your hand and it hits your hand, it's a penalty. And those two things need to change for me. In terms of Arsenal yesterday, I thought they were absolutely magnificent. And, I spoke to Arsene Wenger afterwards, and, he was absolutely gushing with praise for his team. But, there is a frustration there that, they deserved to win yesterday, but, as I say, why haven't they been playing like that for the last 6 months?
What did he say about his future?
I did ask him. He wouldn't tell me. But listen, he's definitely staying. He's not going anywhere. I was told about a week ago, maybe more, that it was 90% certain then he was going to stay. And having seen what he saw yesterday, you're going to tell me that man isn't going to sit there and go, I tell you what, I know I can get more out of this team, and maybe he can. Maybe next season he can. I don't know.
I'd leave if I was him now, wouldn't you, Tony?
Well, I just want to make one point, something that stood out yesterday for me, boys. It was that we've always lauded the facts of the Mourinhos who make substitutions, changes, and they have an impact on the game. And when he brought on Giroud yesterday, and Chelsea had obviously scored, and Giroud's had an amazing impact on the game for the second goal for Ramsey, and he doesn't get praised enough for me, Wenger. When he makes a change like that, if it would have been a tactical decision from most managers, we all said, what a decision, he made a change, he's made immediate impact in the game. I thought that happened with Giroud coming on yesterday.
Yeah, it did. Absolutely it did. I mean, Giroud crossed, but I mean, by that stage, Chelsea were down to 10 men. I think questions need to be asked about Victor Moses. Everyone's gone on all season about how amazing Victor Moses has been at right wing back, and he has been very good. But he got booked for diving in the semi-final. He got booked for diving yesterday, which led to his red card. Is the guy a liability? Is that why Antonio Conte might be looking for another right wing back?
Well, he's not a liability, is he? Come on, he's played a whole season at Chelsea at right wing back, and they've won the league. He can't be a liability. He made a mistake yesterday, but at the end of the day, he's got. If I said to you, Victor Moses, last season when he was on loan at West Ham, whilst you were sitting there watching him at Upton Park, and he was going to end up being in the title-winning team this year, you wouldn't have believed me, would you?
I wouldn't have believed you, but then, my late father had a great saying that only an idiot makes the same mistake twice. Well, there's 2 big games at Wembley. He's been booked for diving. And yesterday it cost his team because although Giroud did have an impact straight away when coming on, he came on against 10 men and then exploited an area of the field down that side of the pitch.
Totally agreed. And it was a stupid thing to do.
It was a completely stupid. I think your exact word in commentary was idiotic. Well, there we go. So is the bloke a liability?
Yeah, I think that's a bit strong, a liability, isn't it?
Moose,
posing a question.
Moose, the game's going to be remembered, obviously, for Arsene Wenger winning his 7th FA Cup.
Yeah.
It just felt a little bit like redemption day for him because he has been hugely criticised from many angles in the media, hasn't he, about the way Arsenal have managed it. It's been a disappointing season as their league performances have shown.
Well, yes. Now the season's over. Is it disappointing? They're one of only 3 teams that have won a trophy. So he and Arsenal fans would argue it's not been that disappointing because they won something. It's disappointing because they didn't finish in the top 4, but they have won something. His team has shown that they can perform, they can go on. They've been. I think Sam was saying beforehand that if they go on and win the cup, they'll have beaten Man City and Chelsea in the semi-final and the final. Now, although they only had to beat Sutton and Lincoln to get to the semi-final, right? That's still not bad to have had to beat Man City and Chelsea to actually win the cup. And I think that in some respects, yesterday was redemption for Wenger and for his team, and I think they will come back next season and they will believe, off the back of yesterday, that they can give it another real go. Now, whether yesterday is another false dawn, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm absolutely convinced that Arsene Wenger will be there. I'm absolutely convinced that he will come back and he'll think to himself, do you know what? This team, my philosophy, my way of playing can still be successful. And he'll point to yesterday, they'll point to the fact he's won 7 FA Cups now, more than anybody else, as reason why his way works. And for the Arsenal fans who wanted him out all season, they're not going to get their wish. For the Arsenal fans that wanted to stay, I think they will. And for those in the media that like to criticise Arsene Wenger, I think he'll be there for 2 more years for you to fire whatever bullets you want at him.
Moose, thank you very much.
Cheers, Moose.
I'll see you a little bit later on, will I, at the EFL League 2 playoff final.
Yeah, go on, I'll join you at Wembley later.
Okay, I'll see you later. Someone also reminded me that Perry's barb to him yesterday was quite funny as well. He said that after watching the Moose interview Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the touchline, he took him away from the team photo. And he said, look, when poor old Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain looks back on that photograph in 20 years' time...
he's with the Moose.
And he's not there, he'll be sitting there going, well, I missed it because I was too busy talking to Peter Griffin from Family Guy on the touchline. You're listening to TalkSport.
The FA Cup on TalkSport with TradePoint. With 290 stores nationwide, open early till late, 7 days a week. Find your nearest counter at tradepoint.co.uk.
The Weekend Sports Breakfast.
All the champions of England.
Yeah, but you're so two-faced, Tony Cascarino.
Am I?
Red and Leg says after the Preston North End game, Tony Cascarino, you were calling for Wenger to be sacked. Now... all you're saying is you're talking about other people giving Wenger stick. Admit that you gave stick
I love him to prove that. I love him to be able to prove that because all I've said all along about Arsene Wenger is that the one question I always ask myself is if they think they're a team that should be challenging to win the league, is Arsene Wenger the man that can win you the league? I don't think that now. So there's his decision for the board is because this club has built an empire to challenge the best in Europe, hasn't it, with a new stadium? So surely, if you're going to want to be one of the best, you've got to be the best in your own country. I don't see that happening over a campaign of a Premier League. Take nothing away from what he's done. Yesterday was a great day for them as a football club to win a trophy.
Also, Dan says, seriously, I can't think this means he can keep his job. One cup doesn't gloss over that. Time for a change, and I'm a Manchester United fan. Steve says, Arsenal wanted it more and got the tactics spot on. Chelsea, in my opinion, were arrogant and thought they only had to turn up and win. And Moses, he was a disgrace. By the way, Red and Legs, don't assume that you were being had a go at by a man. Red and Legs has got a picture of a lady's pair of legs as their Twitter icon, so it could be a lady who's having a go at you.
Oh, right, okay.
You know?
Well, whoever it is, I mean, I don't recall being that harsh on Arsenal at the time, but if any Arsenal fan thinks that what they've seen at times this year,
to be fair,
it's been wrong. That they've had some really the Champions League Bayern Munich games and West Brom away, Palace away, dreadful.
I don't think the Arsenal fans have been particularly generous to Arsene Wenger, which is something that he pointed out during his interview with a Match of the Day yesterday. He was saying that he will never forget the abuse that he was given this season. Ron is a Chelsea fan in Oxfordshire. Hello, Ron. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. As a Chelsea long fan, been watching the game for quite a long time, and this season, I was a bit disappointed with the way Chelsea were playing. Actually, I was waiting for them to get into their well-oiled machine, and they never seemed to do it. Arsenal were sort of at them at the start, straight out the traps. Yep. Quite honestly, Chelsea tried to play their game. I mean, Hazard tried to get round them, but he got crowded out. And I thought Arsenal, everybody was saying there's no leaders in that Arsenal team, but I thought they all played like leaders yesterday.